Hi everyone, my name is Zhesheng Liu. I'm a PhD student of computer science at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm very glad to present our work in collaboration with Dr. Diane Littman, the efficient layer-wise large language model fine-tuning for revision intention prediction. So here is the background. Text revision is regarded as an important part of writing, as it commonly improves final written work through multiple rounds of edits. However, determining the intentions between nuanced revisions is challenging. For example, the same text is revised based on different intentions. The top one is a coherence revision that adds a transition word. The bottom one modifies the text to improve its clarity. These are great examples to illustrate the complexity of the revision task and the challenge for computational models. Recently, large language models have achieved impressive success in multiple NLP tasks, but there is a limited exploration in text revision. This might be because large language models are pre-trained to generate final text rather than iterative revisions. Also, fine-tuning large language models needs large-scale data, but revision annotations are often scarce. Therefore, efficient and effective large language model fine-tuning methods are critically needed in this domain. In the literature, most revision work uses small language models that often struggle to learn complex revisions. And recent work leverages large language model prompting or large language model fine-tuning to address the challenge, but has not investigated how large language model layers contribute to the revision tasks. In fact, layer-wise large language model fine-tuning has been used in other domains. For example, prior work used partial large language layers selected based on randomism, heuristics, and sampling strategies, but all suffer from downsampling and oversampling issues. The figure on the left shows a few important layers are not sampled. The middle one shows that sampled layers include an unimportant layer. Therefore, we propose to select layers based on their distributions. In particular, we are studying three research questions. First, how do large language layers contribute differently to the revision intention prediction? Second, how can we dynamically select important layers for fine-tuning large language models on small corpora? Third, are contextualized instructions helpful for large language models to learn revision intentions? To start, we curated an augmented revision corpus called ArgRevision. Specifically, we used our previously developed eRevise Plus RF system to collect 990 argument essays written by students in grades 4 to 8. And then we annotated revisions between essay drafts, for example, between draft 1 and draft 2, regarding evidence and reasoning sentences. The table below shows the statistically annotated intentions. The labels are skewed, like many relevant revisions, but a few repeated revisions, also many additions, a few modifications. In addition, we used the publicly available corpus called Iterator. It annotated 4,018 text revisions from Wikipedia, archive, and news articles written by skilled writers. Again, annotated intentions are skewed, which makes it challenging for computational methods. Therefore, we propose IR tooling. IR tooling includes scoring, selection, and update components, and it can dynamically select important layers for fine-tuning while freezing those of redundant layers. In terms of importance score, we leverage layer-wise gradient norms to measure large language model layer importance. The figure on the right shows a large language model with 5 layers, and each layer has an importance score computed based on its gradient norm. We use gradient norms to measure the importance because higher gradient norms suggest larger weight updates for rapid optimization on the OS function, and higher gradient norms carry more information relevant to the downstream tasks. Next, we select a large language layer based on a hypothesis that important layers and redundant layers follow different distributions in terms of their importance scores, as shown in the figure on the left. We transform the task to a layer splitting task, which aim to find an optimal split to separate important layers from redundant layers. So we develop an algorithm. We want to find the threshold gamma to split the larger layers into two groups. If a layer has an importance score greater or equal to gamma, it will be important. If a layer has an importance score less than gamma, it will be redundant. The threshold gamma can be obtained to address the inequation, like after a split, the sum of the variances within each group is less or equal to the overall variance before the split. This idea is similar to cluster algorithm, but is way more efficient. The figure on the right shows two splits within large model layers, where the selected important layers can be further split into less important and more important groups. Afterward, the important layers are encapsulated with LoRa for parameter-efficient fine-tuning. These steps are shown in the figure on the right. We note that the sizes of the important and the redundant layers keep changing as fine-tuning progresses. An important layer could become redundant and vice versa, because this is a dynamic method. In terms of the experiment, we use two kinds of inputs. The vanilla inputs just use the original text and revise the text. The instructional inputs use the instruction template shown below. We implemented IR tooling with Mistral 7 billion, Llama 3.18 billion, and DeepSeek R18 billion, compared to the following baselines. We visualized the layer-wise importance scores across the three largest models in the figure below. We see that bottom layers usually share similar patterns across different largest models. And the layers with high variances, such as some layers in the middle, have more frequent updates, while layers with low variances are mostly frozen. IR tooling largely outperforms the PEFT baselines and is generally better than the classical Roberta model. The table on the right shows performance across three large models and two crop plots. The performance is generalizable across large models and datasets, and sometimes the results are better than full fine-tuning. IR tooling is efficient as it has faster loss convergence and low GPU allocations, such as green lines in the figure on the left and the green bars in the figure on the right. We compare instructional inputs and vanilla inputs. So generally speaking, instructional inputs are better on the aggregation corpus, but vanilla inputs are sometimes better on the iterator corpus. Also, the performance improves as the sizes of the largest models increase. The table on the left shows the performance of largest models ranging from 2.7 billion to 30 billion. The figure on the right shows the performance versus the different numbers of the layer split. In aggregation corpus, the performance of Llama 3.18 billion decreases as adding more splits, which could be due to downsampling issues. However, Mistral 7 billion and DeepSeek R18 billion downgrade performance in 2 splits but improve in 3. In the iterator corpus, the performance is another story. These observations suggest that the layer selection depends on both data and models. In conclusion, we observe that larger model layers contribute differently to the revision tasks, and bottom layers often contribute more. Also, we can use grading norms to measure layer importance and dynamically select a subset of layers for fine-tuning. And contextualized instructions are not always helpful for learning intentions. Our code is available online. Feel free to scan the QR code to read our paper if you're interested. Thank you.